Hi, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Welcome to Part of My Frenchie. This is me, 143. If you don't have a friend, you have one now. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be back. 2025. We're kicking off a new year, new topics, new exciting things this year happening. And I am so very excited to get this year started off. So let's start off by hitting that like or subscribe button. Tell all your friends about the channel. Let's make things really successful this year. So today's topic I wanted to talk about was integrity. Integrity is something that I hold very, very dear to me, and one that has popped up over the past, maybe 48 hours, which was even more interesting. So kind of a rewind, working on some issues with my other house that I own. And I find it interesting that sometimes when you're dealing with things and dealing with other businesses, and I've worked in the mortgage business. I've worked in real estate for 20 something years in the past. I've dealt with good real estate people. I've dealt with bad real estate people. I've dealt with greedy people. I've dealt with very honest people. There's a very large mix of people. One thing I have found is the more that somebody seems to grow in the business, the more, they tend to either get too busy or really maybe don't stick to their original mottos that maybe they had when they first started. So kind of a rewind. I needed some information from a company, and I'm not going to say any company names because that's just dumb. But I needed some information from a company that I needed for another company in order to move forward. Now, I'm a very reasonable person. I always do business very honestly, and I'm never inappropriate. I requested the information like a normal human being. And for probably the past month, I've been requesting information and calling and not getting any response, sending emails and not getting any response. And you get to the point where you start thinking, wow, they're really going to make a nice person turn mean. Why would you do that to somebody? And the dumb thing about the whole situation was, it didn't benefit them in any way to not give me what I needed. And B, it took less than 5 minutes for them to give me what I needed. So why not respond in over a month? So after leaving countless messages and emails and kind of being at my wit's end with it, again, you get to the point where you're like, well, why would somebody do that? So 48 hours ago, I decided to look these people up online. And I looked up the owners of the company, and I looked up their LinkedIn, and I looked up their bios on their pages. And it was interesting to me because when I was reading their bios, I often wondered if it was a current bio or if it was a bio from when they first maybe started the business. Because both of these bios talked about integrity, great customer service, and integrity. And I thought to myself, that's interesting because for what they're doing to me, would they do that to their own family member? Now, granted, they don't know me from the person walking down the street, because to me, I'm just another client that they're no longer working with. They just owe me one piece of paper to move on with my life. But clearly, it wasn't a big deal to them, so they didn't need to entertain me or get me what I needed. So brush me off, until I guess they felt that they were needing to get me that information when the time was right for them, which was holding me up from proceeding with my transaction. So I just kept reading the lines, and one had a very decorated background. They looked like they had great family lives, and I thought to myself too, like, how would you like somebody to treat your wife like that? I'm a wife. I'm a mom. Why would you put your wife and your mom through that? So I thought, where's the integrity in all of that? Is it just a line? Are you that busy? Do you just not care? At what point do you give that up? At what point in your life do you say to yourself, you know what? I've hit my point in my career where I've made so much money that I really don't give a shit about anybody else. And I don't care about the little guy. I care about, the $500,000 property that I'm going to make. I'll entertain them, but I don't care about, Joe Schmo that needs one thing. I'll blow them off. I won't answer their calls for, God knows how long. So unfortunately, me being the nice person, and again, I guess I didn't have to put up with it for a month. If I was a mean person, I could have sat there and psycho-dialed and, cussed them out on the phone. But again, I don't do things like that. I, try to do things rationally. Unfortunately, what I had to do was track down different phone numbers and, call ethics boards and real estate ethics boards to see if, there was any action I could take, because that was the only option I had at that point. And shockingly enough, once you notify them that there's people with, the Department of Licensing that's talking about doing an ethics complaint, all of a sudden you get your piece of paper within 5 minutes. Something that could have taken 5 minutes and could have been done a month ago if you had integrity. And why you had to sit there and put a good, decent person, which, I believe I am, through that. I asked politely, waited patiently, gave them benefit of the doubt of the holidays for one piece of paper. I didn't have to do that. But why? Why do people have to do that? I don't know. It's just sad to me. I remember when I was working at a larger bank, and which I won't name that bank name, but anyway, so they were trying to ask for ideas on how you approached your business, like how when you did business, what made you successful at your business, or how when you did your business model, how you approached each deal. And when it came to my turn, I said that whenever I looked at a file or like a mortgage, I looked at every mortgage like that was my grandmother, like my grandmother's mortgage I was going through. And I took very good care of that. And I didn't give it the runaround. And if it needed something, I took care of it. And if it needed special attention, I gave it that. And I got back to it right away. And I took care of every one of my files that way, because that is how I would want somebody to treat me. And it was interesting because in that group, I got a lot of people that laughed at me, and they said, well, how, that's got to be time consuming, and that could be, cost you business, and that, just take, and I said, well, no, it's not time consuming. It takes a little bit extra time, but I would rather people know that they're being taken care of and know that the work is being done ethically, and somebody to know that they're in the right hands than just, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Nobody cares about them. I don't know. I mean, things like that are important to me. I would think that they're important to other people as well. And it was when people get more transactional rather than personal on things that are important, such as mortgages, buying houses, selling houses. Those are big deals for people. And whether other people realize that or not, that's a huge thing for somebody, and it's a huge thing for their families. And once you become transactional, it's sad. It's sad, in my opinion, anyways. Now, don't get me wrong, there are points where you have to be transactional, or there are times that you do have to be transactional, but for the most part, you do have to not treat every file like a number. There has to be a person behind every loan. So anyways, but the moral of every story is, when you're in a situation of power or leverage or anything, any situation where you have the ability to help somebody, to take care of somebody, even if you are a manager or you are in a situation, maybe I don't know, you're into some situation where you have the ability to help somebody, or somebody is asking you for something, don't string them along. Don't help them out. Even if for some reason you do not like that person, just help them out. Why do things with integrity? Do things with grace. People will think a lot more of you than anything. So, you don't have a friend? You have one now? That's it for this week. Thanks for stopping by. Pardon my Frenchie. This is me, 143. Hit that like or subscribe button. Be good to one another. See you next week. Have a great day. Bye-bye.